Namaskar and a very warm welcome to the news on Sansad TV. I'm Isha, Shah. Large parts of the country are in the midst of a massive cold wave, even as the festival of Uttarayan is being celebrated with much cheer. On this festive Saturday, we'll take a look at the most significant developments of the day from India and across the world. Let's begin with the headlines. Development is possible only when nations' borders are secure, says Defence Minister Rajnath Singh on Armed Forces Veterans Day. CDS and 3 service chiefs pay tribute to martyrs at the National War Memorial. Fresh snowfall in Kashmir and Himachal Pradesh. Cold wave alert in Delhi and NCR for next week. Severe cold continues in North India, including Rajasthan. 60,000 people died due to COVID-19 in China since December. Chinese National Health Commission releases figures. Makar Sankranti, Uttarayan, Bihu and Pongal festival celebrated across the country. People take dip in rivers and lakes. Skies decorated with colourful kites. And 4 group matches in Hockey World Cup today. New Zealand beat Chile 3-1. The Netherlands beat Malaysia 4-0. Let's take a look now at our Flash News segment. India will work to integrate the voices and actions of Global South and amplify them, asserts Foreign Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar, stresses that India and Global South face inequities of current world order. MOUs signed with railways, metro and leading corporate houses for job opportunities for Army veterans, informs Army Chief General Manoj Pandey. Union Minister Jitendra Singh launches Geospatial Hackathon to promote innovation and startups in India's geospatial ecosystem. President Murmu condoles the death of Congress MP Santokh Singh Chaudhary, who passed away due to a heart attack at the Congress's Bharat Jodo Yatra in Punjab. Civil Aviation Minister Jyotiraditya Scindia inaugurates direct flight from Kolhapur to Bengaluru, announces new airport terminal for Kolhapur at a cost of more than 200 crore rupees. Himachal Pradesh government restores the old pension scheme in first cabinet meeting, move to benefit more than 1 lakh NPS employees. 179 new cases of COVID-19 reported in the last 24 hours. India's active caseload now stands at 2,227, over 220 crores vaccine doses administered so far. CPIM and Congress to fight Tripura Assembly elections together. Both parties were rivals in the state till last assembly polls. Airstrikes by Myanmar's military on 2 villages kills 5 civilians, including a mother and her 2-year-old daughter, destroys 2 churches as well. And S. Ranki Reddy and Chirag Shetty's impressive run in the Malaysian Open ended with a semi-final loss, with the Indian pair losing in 3 games to the Chinese duo. Our top story. The nation celebrated the 7th Armed Forces Veterans Day on Saturday. Addressing the 7th Armed Forces Ex-Servicemen Day function in Dehradun, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh said that the country is experiencing unprecedented development because the borders are secure. The Defence Minister said that wherever the need arose, the heroes of Uttarakhand have shown their indomitable courage and valour to protect national unity, integrity and sovereignty. He said that it is the duty of the government to ensure the well-being and welfare of ex-servicemen, and several important steps have been taken in this regard. He informed that a special department is also functioning in the Ministry of Defence for the welfare of ex-servicemen. Uttarakhand Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami was also present on the occasion. Let's listen in.
हमारी फॉर्मिडेबल आर्म्ड फोर्सेस के कारण ही इस देश का एक एक नागरिक सुरक्षित है और देश दुनिया में सिर ऊंचा करके वह चलता है। विश्व के मानचित्र पर आज हमारा देश जिस स्वाभिमान के साथ अंकित है, उसके पीछे आप लोगों का बहुत बड़ा योगदान है। आज भारत ही नहीं, दुनिया इस सच्चाई को स्वीकार कर रही है कि आज भारत का कद सारी दुनिया में ऊंचा हुआ है।
Chief of Defence Staff Lieutenant General Anil Chauhan and the 3 service chiefs paid floral tributes at the National War Memorial in New Delhi. Programs were organized at 9 places in the country in Jhunjhunu, Jalandhar, Panagarh, Delhi, Dehradun, Chennai, Chandigarh, Bhubaneswar and Mumbai. Meanwhile, Army Chief General Manoj Pandey praised the contribution of the Indian Armed Forces, calling them one of the best forces in the world. Let's listen in.
कि भारतीय सेना आपके प्रति अपनी जिम्मेदारियों के संबंध में हर तरह प्रतिबद्ध है। आपने सेना के लिए और देश के लिए अपना जीवन काल दिया है और भारतवर्ष आपकी इस निस्वार्थ सेवा के लिए सदैव आभारी रहेगा।
156 Sparsh service centers have been made operational across all the commands of the Indian Air Force in all the self-accounting units. This will help in speedy resolution of all pension-related issues of our air veterans.
Now, Congress leader and Jalandhar MP Santokh Singh Chaudhary passed away due to a heart attack during the Bharat Jodo Yatra. He was 76 years old. Several leaders, including Prime Minister Modi, Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla and others, condoled the death of Chaudhary. The Congress suspended the Yatra for a day as a mark of respect to the late leader. Congress leader Rahul Gandhi condoled Chaudhary's death and met his family members. Two-time MP Santokh Singh Chaudhary fainted while taking part in a Padayatra in Jalandhar. He was taken to the Phagwara hospital in an ambulance where he was declared dead. Now, Himalayan towns saw fresh snowfall on Saturday morning, bringing cheer to tourists and covered the hills in a white blanket of snow. Locals and tourists were in for a treat as Srinagar also turned into a wonderland on Friday. Let's take a look.
The hill town of Shimla is covered in a thick blanket of snow.
स्नोफॉल ही देखने आए थे। कल तक तो कुछ नहीं था, कल रात से ही तो स्टार्ट हो गया और आज तो सुबह तो मतलब पूरी और स्नो ही स्नो है। बहुत मजा आ रहा है
और इसे देख के ऐसा लग रहा है कि जैसे चारों तरफ चांदी ही चांदी बिखरी हुई हो और इतना फैंटास्टिक, आई कांट अमेजिंग दिस कि चारों तरफ बर्फ ही बर्फ देखने को मिलेगी और यहाँ पर कह रहे हैं कि यहाँ पर पहला स्नोफॉल है, पर वाकई अमेजिंग, इट्स वेरी अमेजिंग, आई लाइक दिस।
At least 200 roads were closed for vehicular traffic as plows and snow clearing vehicles were put into use to clear the snow before it melts. The fresh snowfall is expected to intensify the cold wave in the rest of India, according to Weather Office. Meanwhile, temperatures dropped in New Delhi after fresh snow spell in the hills, but air quality remained in the very poor category for the third straight day. Snowfall in Jammu and Kashmir and Himachal Pradesh has a direct impact on temperatures in lower northern states of Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh and Indian capital, New Delhi. Bureau Report, Sansad TV.
And news from the capital now, where Delhi and the National Capital Region are also likely to witness a cold wave next week, with the minimum temperatures dropping to around 3 degrees Celsius. Delhi recorded a minimum temperature of 10.2 degrees Celsius on Saturday, that was 3 degrees above normal. According to the Met Department, snowfall in the mountains may lower temperatures in Delhi. Cold wave conditions are likely to prevail in Delhi from 16 to 18 January, with a possibility of cold wave conditions in different parts of neighbouring regions as well. Rajasthan is also in the grip of severe cold on Makar Sankranti. Fatehpur in the state on Saturday recorded a minimum temperature of minus 3.5 degrees Celsius. According to the Met Department, the state experienced a major drop in temperature in the past 24 hours. Minimum temperature in Churu was minus 0.7 degrees Celsius and in Bikaner 1.1 degrees Celsius. The Met Department has predicted the cold wave would intensify from Sunday. From 15 to 17 January, cold wave or severe cold wave is likely to prevail in most areas of Rajasthan, including in Bikaner, Jaipur, Ajmer, Jodhpur and Bharatpur divisions. Now, millions of Indians took a holy dip in rivers, prayed to the sun god, flew kites, and distributed jaggery sweets during the celebrations of the Hindu harvest festival of Makar Sankranti on Saturday. Here's a report.
Makar Sankranti is one of the most auspicious days for the Hindus and is celebrated in almost all parts of India in many cultural forms, with great devotion, fervour and gaiety. It is believed that a holy dip during Makar Sankranti washes away all sins.
आज मकर संक्रांति का दिन है और बड़े दूर दूर से आदमी आते हैं काशी जी में स्नान करने के लिए। यहाँ नहाने का महत्व अलग ही है।
Makar Sankranti also heralds the coming of spring, and the excitement of it is celebrated in a number of ways with food, family gatherings, street fairs and kite festivals.
ये बहुत बड़ा दिन है। आज सूर्य भगवान मकर राशि में आते हैं और अपने भारत में अच्छे से मनाते हैं इसको।
As per Hindu astrology, transition of the sun from Sagittarius to Capricorn zodiac during the winter solstice in the northern hemisphere is known as Makar Sankranti. From this day begins the 6-month-long Uttarayan, the sun's journey in the northern hemisphere.
आज सर 2 साल के बाद उत्तरायण मना रहे हैं क्योंकि कोरोना के हिसाब से मनाया नहीं होता। इस साल फैमिली पोल सब ने बहुत अच्छा सपोर्ट है हमारे यहाँ के। सब बच्चे लोग हैं, सब साथ में मिलके पतंग वतंग चढ़ाएंगे, एंजॉय करेंगे। अक्खा दिन आज ऐसा जाएगा अच्छा सा।
While the traditional Hindu calendar is basically based on lunar positions, but Makar Sankranti is a solar event taking place every year on January 14th. Bureau Report, Sansad TV.
And a quick look now at some more news from across the nation. Prime Minister Modi will flag off a new set of Vande Bharat Express train connecting Secunderabad with Visakhapatnam on Sunday via video conferencing. The train will be the 8th Vande Bharat Express to be introduced by the railways and will be the first one connecting the two Telugu-speaking states of Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, covering a distance of around 700 kilometers. The regular service of the train will start from the 16th of January. On the invitation of the Speaker of the National Assembly of Kenya and the Speaker of the National Assembly of the United Republic of Tanzania, Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla will be leading a delegation to Kenya and Tanzania from 16 to 21st of this month. Chirag Paswan, Manoj Kotak and Ms. S. Konyak, along with the Secretary General of Lok Sabha, will be the members of the delegation. The Lok Sabha Secretariat has issued notification disqualifying Lakshadweep MP Mohammad Faisal, who was recently convicted in an attempt to murder case by a court in the Union Territory. A member of the NCP, Faisal has ceased to be a people's representative with effect from 11 January 2023, following the notification that was issued on Friday. The court in Lakshadweep had on Wednesday sentenced 4 people, including Mr. Faisal, to 10 years in jail. The Indian women's hockey team will travel to South Africa for a 7-match exposure tour, which will also include 3 games against world number 1, the Netherlands, from the 16th of January. The Savita Punia-led side will play 4 matches against host South Africa in Cape Town before locking horns with the Dutch side in 3 matches from 23rd of January. And time now for a very short break in the bulletin. Lots more coming up on the other side. Do stay tuned. Welcome back. Let's now take a look at all the latest from the Russia-Ukraine war front. A series of explosions were heard in Kiev on Saturday morning, followed by air raid sirens. The deputy head of Ukraine's presidential office said on Telegram that a missile attack was underway on critical infrastructure in the capital. However, it was not immediately clear whether the explosions were caused by the strikes or from air defense systems shooting down incoming missiles or drones. Gunfire rang out in the Ukrainian town of Soledar on Friday, where Ukrainian and Russian troops are fighting each other. Russia had claimed that its forces captured the fiercely contested salt mining town in what would mark a rare victory for the Kremlin after a series of setbacks in its war in Ukraine. However, Ukrainian authorities said that the fight for the town still continued. Meanwhile, Taiwan has said that it is ready to help Ukraine upgrade its digital infrastructure in fields such as remote learning as part of rebuilding efforts after the war. Taiwan has already provided humanitarian aid in the form of generators and equipment, but it said that it is also thinking about the digital layer. The European Union needs to keep increasing pressure on Russia and supporting Ukraine, European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen said on Friday. The head of the European Commission also said that the 27-member bloc needs financing tools for its clean technology industry to help it compete against the United States, where firms have government support through the Inflation Reduction Act. Meanwhile, Ukraine's President Zelensky wants to visit the United Nations to address a high-level meeting of the 193-member General Assembly on the eve of the first anniversary of Russia's invasion, if the security situation permits. If Zelensky does come to the United Nations, it would be only his second trip outside of Ukraine since the invasion began. Earlier, he made a surprise visit to Washington on the 21st of December. Russia's defense ministry released a video on Friday that showed army units during combat operations at frontline positions close to the town in Ukraine's Donetsk region. The footage shows soldiers launching mortars and self-propelled artillery guns firing. Vuhledar, which is this town of 14,000 people, is currently under Ukrainian control and is 55 kilometers southwest of Donetsk city. And let's take a look now at some more global updates. China on Saturday reported nearly 60,000 deaths of people who had died from COVID-19 since early December. The death toll included more than 5,000 who died due to respiratory failure caused by COVID-19 and more than 54,000 deaths from other ailments combined with COVID-19. The National Health Commission said that those deaths occurred in hospitals, which left open the possibility that more people may also have died at home. The official toll stood at 5,272 on the 8th of January. The Chinese government stopped reporting data on COVID-19 infections and deaths in early December after abruptly lifting antivirus controls. Moving on to the United States now, former President Trump's company was fined $1.6 million as punishment for a scheme in which some of his executives dodged personal income taxes on lavish job perks. The fine was imposed on Friday. It was the only penalty a judge could impose on the Trump organization. The company was convicted of 17 tax crimes, including conspiracy and falsifying business records. The amount imposed was equal to double the amount of taxes that a group of executives avoided on benefits, including rent-free apartments, luxury cars, and private school tuition. Trump himself, however, was not on trial. He also denied any knowledge of his executives evading taxes illegally. Meanwhile, the White House has said that US President Biden's lawyers found a small number of classified documents and turned them over after discovery. A special counsel has now been appointed to probe the improper storage of classified documents at Biden's residence and former office. Let's find out more.
The US White House insisted on Friday that it has been very transparent with the press and the American people regarding the classified documents found in President Joe Biden's former office and Wilmington home. For a third day in a row, since the revelations of the first set of documents was made public, the White House press secretary was grilled by reporters about the timing of the documents' discovery and why it took so long for the public to learn about them. The White House acknowledged earlier this week that the president's personal lawyers found a small number of classified documents at the office of his former institute in Washington in November, just before the midterm elections. On Thursday, the White House disclosed that a document with classified markings from Biden's time as vice president was found in December in Biden's personal library, along with other classified documents found in his garage. Shortly after that revelation, Attorney General Merrick Garland appointed a special counsel in the matter, Robert Hur, a former senior Justice Department official in the Trump administration who served as U.S. Attorney in Maryland, to serve as special counsel. As if the president believes he is restoring confidence in the presidency, as was his campaign promise, the press secretary said he has restored independence in the Department of Justice. Bureau Report, Sansad TV.
Now, Eurozone inflation remains near a historic high, with many European countries facing high inflation in December 2022. But some of them saw a slight ease thanks to a slowdown in energy price hikes. Let's take a look at this report.
Hungary's consumer price index increased 24.5% in December, the highest rate since March 1996. Price rise for food items was as high as 44.8% in December compared to a year earlier. Official data showed that Hungary's annual average inflation rate reached 14.5% in 2022, up from 5.1% in 2021. Poland's CPI surged 16.6% year-on-year in December, down from 17.5% in the previous month. The slowdown in inflation was driven by lower food and energy price increases. Consumer prices rose by an average of 7.1% in Finland in 2022, the highest increase in 40 years. The inflation rate for consumer prices in Finland was only 2.2% in 2021. The current increase in consumer prices began in the second half of 2021, and subsequently, the Ukraine crisis and related international sanctions meant prices began to rise steadily in May, peaking in December last year. Inflation in 2022 was mainly accelerated by an increase in loan interest rates and surging food and energy prices. CPI in France dropped 0.1% on a monthly basis and rose 5.9% from a year ago in December 2022. It also showed that France's annual inflation rate reached 5.2% year-on-year in 2022. The figure was only 1.6% in 2021. The rise in inflation was mainly caused by high costs of energy, food, services, and manufactured goods. Among them, energy price, food price, and service price increased by 23.1%, 6.8%, and 3% year-on-year in 2022, respectively. Spain's CPI rose 5.7% year-on-year in December, slower than 6.8% increase in November, thanks to lower energy price increases. Bureau Report, Sansad TV.
And a quick look now at some more global updates in our World Wrap segment. Iran said that it executed a dual Iranian-British national who once held a high-ranking position in the country's defense ministry. Ali Reza Akbari was a close ally of top security official Ali Shamkhani. Reports suggest that this execution highlights divisions within Iran's political establishment over the September death of Mahsa Amini. Meanwhile, the Biden administration is nearing deals with two Pacific Island nations to extend ties critical to maintaining balance in the US-China rivalry for influence in the Indo-Pacific region. This week, the United States signed memorandums of understanding with the Marshall Islands and Palau that grant the US unique military and other security rights on the islands in return for aid. China and Bhutan reached a positive consensus to expedite negotiations to settle their border dispute through a three-step roadmap. The 11th expert group meeting on the China-Bhutan boundary issues was held in China's Kunming city from the 10th of January. Bhutan shares a 477 kilometers long border with China, and the two countries held 24 rounds of boundary talks to resolve this issue. Rescuers on Friday raced to find survivors in the aftermath of a storm system that ravaged Georgia and Alabama, killing at least 9 people. At least 35 possible tornado touchdowns were reported across several states. Tens of thousands of homes and businesses were without power in both these states. A Brazilian Supreme Court justice on Friday authorized including former President Jair Bolsonaro in its investigation of who incited the 8 January riot in the nation's capital. The request was granted over a video Bolsonaro posted on Facebook 2 days after the riot. It claimed that Lula da Silva was not voted into office, but rather chosen by the Supreme Court and Brazil's electoral authority. Prosecutors meanwhile argued that its content was sufficient to justify investigating his conduct beforehand. And a quick look now at all the latest from the world of sports. In a Pool C match played at the FIH Men's Hockey World Cup at Rourkela today, New Zealand defeated Chile 3-1. In the second Pool C match played today, one of the favourites, the Netherlands, displayed good form, beat Malaysia 4-0. After a perfect start to their campaign with a dominant 2-0 win over Spain, India to face a stern test against England in the second pool match of the FIH Men's Hockey World Cup in Rourkela tomorrow. A series clean sweep in sight, India to take on Sri Lanka in the third and final ODI on Sunday at Thiruvananthapuram. And New Zealand pacer Tim Southee surpasses compatriot Daniel Vettori to become the leading wicket taker in international cricket for his country on Friday. In 351 international matches, Southee now has 697 wickets. And with that, it's a wrap of the news this weekend. Do stay tuned to Sansad TV for all the latest updates. Thank you for being with us. Good night.